What is up, good people? This is Crypto Prepper on Thursday, December 18th, 2025. And today, what we're going to do is we're going to get some bots set up on Chainlink. So, and that's interesting because earlier when I checked this, Chainlink was actually under Hyperliquid, but I was going to skip Hyperliquid because it's not available on any US exchange. So anyway, we're gonna do Chainlink today. Current price is 12.05, but the day-to-day price doesn't matter when we're running these bots. What we're looking at is the year's chart. So this is pretty interesting. It looks like a year ago today it was 20, can't quite get there we go, 27 bucks or more, a little bit more than 27 bucks. And then did that nice little cup and handle, but then went the wrong way. So without the cup and handle. Um, but anyway, what I started doing yesterday was comparing uh, Coinbase and Kraken whenever I can. And I thought this one would be interesting because let's go to the markets, and you can see Coinbase, their volume is 34 million daily volume on Link. Then I have to go to the second page to find Kraken, and it's 4 million. So quite a bit lower, but not something like, when you get into the just down into the six figures, then it can maybe get a little interesting. I guess we'll see as we continue through this series. But anyway, I thought, oh, hey, okay, so this might help my theory that I mentioned yesterday, where if you get a an exchange with less liquidity, you're going to have higher spikes sometimes. And that might be the case, and your bot may or may not be able to capitalize on it, depending on when and where that happens. So anyway, I'll stop rambling and get into it. So I did a back test from the most recent high of $25 on, oh no, that's not right. Okay, I just had to zoom out a little bit more. August 22nd was the high at 27. So since August 22nd, the price of Link, oops, dang it, I hit the wrong, I want date range, I want price range. So we'll go here from this first buy at 26.85 and all the way down to the current price is 12.05. So it's not going to be exact, 12.07 here. So 55% that's fallen. And we had that nice liquidation where it made uh, quite a bit of money there on that day. So that might have skewed this. But anyway, uh, with that being said, in 118 days, as the price fell 55%, this bot produced 18% in gains. And it's not done, obviously, producing because, let's get that out of the way. Dang it. Because we have a couple green bylines here. So it almost bought this one, and then it could have actually, if it would have hit this buy, it might have triggered a sell right here, and we'd be looking even better. But anyway, uh, in 118 days, right? Is that what that is? Yeah, 118 days, 18.38%. And what I did here, that I talked about, and I can't remember yesterday's video, but recently I said I need to actually adjust this so that it's not giving you my trading fee, which is 0.25 currently on Coinbase. And so that's going to give me a better return. But if you're just getting started out, your trading fee could be as high as 0.6%. And so that's going to take your return back down to that 18.38. Okay. So that's Coinbase, and I'll go through the settings here. Let's just go ahead and do it now before I forget. So our settings here on this Coinbase link bot is the $1,000 investment can be scaled up as big as you want, but you want at least 1,000. And then your base order when you set your parameters here. So before you take that up to whatever you want to put into that specific bot, you're going to want to make sure you enter these, and then you can adjust it by scrolling your bar like this, and then it automatically adjusts the numbers down here. Let's see if I can get it right back down to 1,000. Nope. Okay. So I won't do that again. Uh, let's see. Didn't jack it up too bad. Okay. Just gotta fix that. Okay. All right. Just want to make sure everything was back to normal like we like it. So 31.25 as your base order amount. Then the remaining limit orders here are going to total 968.75. There's going to be 5 of those orders after that initial buy, and those orders are going to be 5% apart. And then the amount multiplier is going to double each one of these buy orders. So that one's going to be 31.25 again, then double, then double, then double that, then double that again. Um, to bring your DCA down, and then it doesn't have to move up as much to take a profit, because you see it's not just a straight line down, it's like down and then back up and then down and then back up and then down and then back up. So that's where you're going to make your money. And our take profit here is set at 5. So I played around with a little bit, 5.1. It increased it a little bit, but if we just go 5, 5, 5, and 5, all of these are fives. So 5, 5 for those, and then 5 here. So, and remember, this is one that you can change after you set your bot. Like if you're for some, if you wanted to change it, you can. Anything else, you can't. So, and then my back test here, we just did at 118 days. We'll run that again to make sure that it's still that 18.3. We got to change this to 0.6 so that it's more accurate for somebody beginning out, starting out. 18.38% in 108 days, 118 days, while this coin has fallen 55%. Okay, now we're going to go over to Kraken, and the trading fee on this is 0.4, so less fees, but also weirdly less return. So just a little bit, 18.38 versus 18.34. And you can see here on this where I was talking about the liquidity on this coin on Kraken is not near as much as it is on Coinbase. So sometimes you can get these illiquid licks, these illiquid wicks. You got one here. It jumped up, and I don't think that was so prominent on Coinbase. So it took advantage of this one and sold, and then bought, and then it purchased here, purchased here. Looks like it sold again. I'll have to zoom in to see. So it did take advantage of a little bit of this wick to the downside where it uh, sold, purchased, purchased. This one's a little higher. You can't really see the red in there, but if it's higher than this one, then it's selling, and then it buys again right away, so that just in case it keeps moving up, then you can make a little bit, keep going. But with this wick, it purchased after it sold, and then purchased again, and then sold here, purchased, sold, purchased, 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 and sold. Um, so you can't always see these red dots like you can here. But if the next one is higher than the last one, you know that you've sold, that the bot has sold for you. So yeah, it did take it. So even taking advantage of those little illiquid wicks that we had, on Kraken versus Coinbase, with the lower fee, it was still a little bit less return here with that 118 days. And we have two more buy lines under this, just like we did on Coinbase. So I thought that was interesting. I'm gonna play around with it, and if you wanted to stick around and watch me play around with the 360-day back test, then that's what's coming up next. But if you like this comparison, where I'm gonna start doing this with each coin that I can and comparing it between Coinbase and Kraken. So hopefully you like that, and if you do, give me a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, leave me your favorite coin in the comments if you want me to run some bots on it. Check that out. And now we're going to move on and play around with the 365-day back tests. So let's click here. Just click on that little calendar icon, 365, and run a back test. While we're waiting on that, we'll pop over to the Kraken one, do the same thing, 365. And like I've mentioned in other videos, if you go with a mid-tier plan, you can only do a 180-day back test. But fortunately, I have the pro plan, so I'm able to do a 365. But the last few years, I just did the advanced plan and just did my back test at 180. But oh, okay, this is interesting. This is interesting. 0%. Hmm. Oh, wow. Okay, so then on uh Coinbase, we had let's see. So here's the major advantage of being able to do a 365-day back test. So 57.91%, and that was starting December 18th, 2024. So we didn't quite catch the more recent top last December of $30, but caught it on the way down. It's just making money all throughout here. And then when we have these naked spots, it goes from February 8th to the 24th with no action, and then didn't give you any kind of sell or buy or sell any kind of action from the 25th of February to May 9th, May 11th. So you went basically all of March, all of April, um, and halfway through May before you saw any action. So, this is another reason why you're not going to put all your money in one bot and not all your bots on one exchange. If you can, just do it as fast as you can to limit the risk. But we went 2 months without seeing any action and still saw 57.91 return. So, you, hopefully you have other bots that would have produced during that time so that when you log in each month, you have a little bit you can take out. But that is one of the risks in these bots is it still can fall below range. And you can try to minimize that if you had maybe we take this down to 4.5, take profit price percent change, see if that changes anything. 57.91. So it took it down to 43, which, still pretty damn good, right? But we still had, oh, wow. So with that change, we went even longer. That would be tough. Okay, so that would be tough. I'm gonna scroll up and Let me try doing 6%. So let's see if I can beat that 57. It's not going to buy as often, so at least it beat that 43 we had before. But oh yeah, look at that. So that changes it quite a bit. So it's up to you whether you want to potentially sacrifice that extra 6% APY to have more action throughout the year, because that definitely does its job to keep you motivated, just be like, hey, all right, I'm seeing consistent action. I'm not getting frustrated. You're going to be less likely to mess with the bots and stop them and restart, because the more you mess with them, the more chances you have to make a mistake. And you know what? I need to take this trading fee up to 6 just to give you a little bit better idea of what you could expect. 46%. And we still have all this action. Okay, that's good. So 46%. And who's to say if you had enough money in bots on Coinbase, your trading fee is going to be lower than this because your volume is going to be high potentially, depending on how much you have in each bot and how many bots you have. But this is, I can't say worst case scenario, but you know, this is maybe more realistic and more conservative APY to get off a link in the last year. And if it continues to just do this basically sideways, up, and it's I guess I can't really say if it's gone along with the market because sometimes we saw coins peak in July and have gone down since. Others not until like October. So this one peaked in August. So this is another reason why it's good to have a diversified portfolio. And maybe if you had Bitcoin and Ethereum and XRP and you had several thousand in each of those bots, maybe you could still do 1,000 in this and just expand the horizons and potentially make a little bit more with these quote unquote riskier coins. Okay, so that's pretty good on Coinbase, but what I wanted to see, let's see if I move this, take this down to 6 on here too, on Kraken. I'm a little concerned with that back test being 0. That doesn't make any dang sense. That doesn't make any sense at all. And then I don't know what this is. Just a liquidity issue? Interesting. And it's taken this to 0.1. So let's see if that changes. Which would be weird if it did. Okay. That is very strange. Let's run a 180-day back test. See what that gives us. With 5 averaging orders. Okay. And so that is interesting that we're seeing that on a 365-day back test on Kraken. Because that's 0. I'm going to try it again, see if something, so maybe it's just wonky. Dang it. Okay. Well, that makes no sense to me at all. But, even if you were just on the advanced plan and could only do a 180-day back test, which this is surprising that uh, uh, it's 21.5 because I guess it's not too much because 118 days is what we originally ran. This time it's 180. Let's see if taking it up to the highest trading fee that you'll pay on Kraken is 0.4 based on their fee structure. Let's see if that changes anything. Usually it updates before too long. And I know they have a decently long-standing, not necessarily on link, but a long-standing partnership, as far as what the APIs go between this BitsGap software that we use to create these bots and Kraken exchange. Okay, so I'm tired of waiting for that. So that is okay. Weird. Server timeout after a minute wait. Minute wait. Oh, that's an interesting thing. Maybe I'm just running too many back tests. So anyway, again, um, just in the last 118 days, Coinbase is the winner uh, for Link, but still did pretty well on Kraken too, and has the more illiquid wicks where it can take advantage and maybe give you a little bit more income on some of these smaller coins. All right. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.